Hello everybody, welcome back to my hard mode playthrough on SnowRunner. I've done a little bit of off-cam prep for this episode just to try and get more stuff done basically. One of the things I've done is move the Fleet Star to the drilling site because there's a cargo that needs to be craned into a vehicle and then delivered somewhere in this corner of the map. So I've done that in advance so that I've got a crane in that area mostly. And then what I'm going to do now is finish the task that we had started in the previous episode, but it ran out of time in the episode to complete it. So that task is to drive the Pacific P16 with this large construction rig trailer up through the rest of Smithville Dam to the drilling site. And in the last episode we brought this from the port area of Drummond Island. So we did probably 2/3 of the journey in the previous episode, and then we're going to complete the journey in this episode. Or at least that's the plan. And then depending on how time goes, there's some side tasks in that same area of the map that I'd quite like to get done, which is why the Fleet Star is parked over there, to help with side tasks, and the rest of this contract also has some activity in that corner of the map. And then the other prep thing I did to try, so this is quite a tight corner, the other prep thing I did to try and help with this episode is I've moved one of the fuel trailers to the farm so that as we drive past with this Pacific in a minute, we can refuel it before we get too far away from the road. So that is quite a tight turn. Let's back her up. I think I took the wrong line in. It's just whether or not I can now straighten up and get myself back in there to correct that mistake. Got to get this back far enough. Mess of this, aren't I? I want to back her up enough. Because that is such a tight bend that I need the wheels of the trailer as far out as possible. It's probably still not far enough really, but I'm not sure what that's caught on. Can't see it hitting anything. I guess there must be a clip box problem with that bumper on the barrier. Looking alright. Pig zero there, so I know. Well, that'll do. That's probably the tightest turn. I've had a bit of a marathon editing session today. I got 3 in a row edited and uploaded to YouTube and scheduled, so I am 3 days ahead of myself, but at least I haven't got a backlog of editing to do, so I feel justified in playing for a bit. Right, so this is a bit dodgy because there's holes in the middle of this water. I'm going to try to hug left if I can get the turn done. Put it into low. I think I'll help myself to a nice little winch support off that tree and see if I can effectively slingshot my way around that tree. Didn't really need the tree. So far so good. Release that one. And move my winch more to that one. I'm trying to release that winch, but so I think this left side, to me, I think is the best route when you're coming in with a decent sized cargo on, because the other side is a lot steeper, it tips into the water a lot more, and there's a couple of sump holes in the water. So I don't want to speak too soon, but I do feel that this is the safer route through this piece. I mentioned 2 episodes ago that I was hoping there would only be maybe 5 more episodes to finish Michigan. I think that's a little bit optimistic. I think that's doable from a main contract perspective, because there's not that much left of the main contract now. But there's quite a few side tasks both here and in Drummond Island. So unless I do them off cam, which is a possibility for some of them at least, there's a, if I do them all on cam and in the episodes, then yeah, there's certainly not going to be another 3 after this one to finish that. Right, so this is the fuel tank obviously that I brought through from our resupply zone. It's about half full, just under half full, but I'm going to top up the Pacific to give ourselves the best chance of getting in and out without needing a fuel rescue. And I'd like then to complete this corner of the map as much as possible, and then I can move that fuel tanker back out again. And when I say as much as possible, that's because, as I've mentioned before, I probably won't do the logging missions before going into Alaska. I haven't decided yet fully, but probably, as I've mentioned before, the logging missions just they're quite expensive in terms of machinery, so you got to weigh up whether they're worth doing. And the counter to that argument is learning through the video that popped up in my YouTube recommendations feed that I mentioned before about the history of Pacific as real life trucks, and the fact that this was basically originally designed and built as a logging truck. So I don't know, maybe I will do the logging just to tick off the completion box, and also to use this truck for the thing it was designed to do in the real world. We'll see. Get into low. This is the type of terrain that this truck can struggle on. It's a lot better in mud than it is on this dry stuff. So our route is going to be following the recommendation that I think it was Ace made in my comments, to basically take the long route for this, not try and do the shortcuts, because it's just not worth it. This is too big a rig to try and take down the coastal route. And the other route, that if you were to read the road signs, ignore the fact that we just would have knocked over that power pole. This road sign on the left of me, which I can just see, maybe you can't see, but it says drilling site left, and that's a trap, mate. That's a horrible road. There's no way you're going down through that road with this combination. So we're going to turn right, and we're going to take the long route round, where it looks, at least from the map perspective, to be a main route rather than a swampy trap mess. Put a little bit of speed on. Maybe see if it can cope with being stuck in high without stalling. I think that would probably give us better momentum overall if we can maintain high gear. That's a place to put it into low. I did intentionally go wide on that corner because I wanted to get the trailer around without it going into the dip. I want the winch now. A big tree. And now winching the trailer off that power pole. Worked a bit. Plenty of poles on this route, plenty of trees. I think this is probably the right way to do it. Try and take it wide, but without putting it in the ditch. To help the trailer get around the corner. Good stuff, Pacific. Still my favourite. A bit wet and sticky, but oddly enough that's the sort of stuff this truck appreciates. A little bit of a double bump on a bend here, which could be a little bit dangerous. If it starts to tip in, just drive through it. It seems to work okay. There's a trailer here that's got some vehicle spare parts on. We could have used them for one of the earlier tasks. I think there's a task nearby where it needs one of them. I don't think we need both of them. But I don't know what that task is in that box. I'm just going to be a bit cheeky and stick my nose in. Let's say. No, I'm going to ignore that because I'll come back anyway. I'm not going to take the nose in there while I've got this load on. But I don't think that's I think that's a task. I haven't been up here with a scout, so I don't think I've tagged that task. That was just a little pose for a thumbnail. Alright, objective in sight. We'll keep focus, but we're nearly there. definitely the best route. So Ace, if you're watching this, thank you for the tip, much appreciated. It's definitely a better route. I think on my campaign mode paper, I'm pretty sure I did do this, although we are getting close to the point that I gave up that save in order to start this hard mode playthrough. So we're reaching the point that this is all new content for me, really. But I think I did do this one, and I think I came in the coast route, and I'm pretty sure I needed to rescue myself with a big old Russian 8x8 truck that I don't have access to in this save yet. Right, good. Nice task finished. Decent achievement. So, what we need to do next is we need to bring 2 metal beams. And there are 2 metal beams on a ramped flatbed here. That the last time I was in that corner of the map, my Fleet Star was unable to pull that trailer out of the mud. So I'm pretty sure the Pacific is the vehicle for the task. And because we've got to go up this route to get there anyway, what I'm going to do is jump into the Fleet Star, which I've got parked just here. I am going to go into crane mode, put my legs down, and put this concrete slab on, because that's needed for a side task which is en route to the metal beams trailer. And then once it is loaded up, I will hook the 2 trucks together with probably the Pacific leading, and they can go up there together, basically. And hopefully the Pacific will be able to hook onto that ramped flatbed and pull it out of the mud, no problem. It's close enough. Pack the cargo, restore the crane. So yeah. I think this is a fairly safe bit of road. So I'm going to use both vehicles, and I'm going to leave the engine running on the, actually let's just disengage all-wheel drive on it, but I'm going to leave the engine running and tow with the Pacific. A little bit wasteful on fuel, but then it probably reduces the Pacific fuel consumption, I hope. And if I had a trailer here, in this corner of the map, I would tow the trailer instead of towing the Fleet Star. But I haven't got a trailer, and I think this is more time efficient than going and getting a trailer. And there's a couple other tasks in this corner of the map that the Fleet Star can do anyway once it's finished with this one. So I think I need to go, yeah I do. So hang a left around this little bit of coast road, up this trail. And then that's the location where the solid foundation concrete slab delivery. And the other reason, it says truck with crane recommended, and that's probably just for the pickup, but it's possible that there's a crane unload needed at the other end. I doubt it, but it's possible, so just go with this. I've mentioned before, I find it quite funny. I try not to repeat myself too much, but there's always going to be people that may not have watched all of the videos, so I hope I'm not repeating myself too much, but I'll try to keep it under control. But when you're towing a vehicle in this game, it's weird because there is no driver in that second vehicle's driving seat, but it does act as if it's got an AI driver. So I'm towing it with a soft rope, but it just used its brakes to avoid running into the back of me. And if I go into reverse, the vehicle behind me reverses as well. There's a limited AI behaviour when you're towing a vehicle, which is really useful and something that I should leverage a bit more often, I think. Keep looking back enough to make sure that I haven't bounced that concrete slab out of the Fleet Star, because it would be just like me to drive for 10 minutes, get to the other end, and then turn around and find that the Fleet Star's upside down and I've just been dragging it on its roof for the last 4 minutes. That is the sort of thing I would do. Very much. I'm going off piste. That doesn't look like the sort of place I want to tow a truck up on that steep left-hand camber. swap into the Fleet Star and deliver that slab. Pop a little wheelie there. A lot of weight in the back. Uphill on the bumpy ground. Beautiful stuff. Unload. Done. Nice XP for a side task, really. 400 XP, and I'm pretty sure engine off. Yeah, that just hit level 14 for us. 270 into level 14. And 14 is a bit of a milestone in terms of unlocking trucks and chain tires that we could buy if we choose to. Right, I'll leave the Fleet Star here for now and push on and grab that ramp flatbed trailer, which is the main reason we're up here. Just checking my fuel. Half tank, that's a little bit dodgy, but I might have to steal a bit out of the Fleet Star so that I can get back. Although I don't want to strand the Fleet Star up here either. Let's just see if we can get in, get this trailer, get out again without wasting too much fuel. The fuel trailer that I dropped off in the farm, I did consider bringing it all the way to the drilling station, and that might have been a more sensible thing to do, because it is a little bit of a trek back to the farm. I'm just going to no fancy stuff, just try and hook it up, lock it in low and drag it out. Yeah, look at the difference. I don't know if you didn't see it. You're not remembering the difference, but I certainly am. The Fleet Star, when I tried to do that, couldn't move that trailer even a foot. Whereas this is just brute strength it out. Just need to get back without dropping the cargo now. These trailers are quite hard to pull through mud because the front axle of the trailer seems to dig straight in like a brake. Like those tractor pulling competitions where you get the big scooped up tractors that look nothing like a farm vehicle, but massive dual engines on the front of them, pulling a trailer that as you're pulling it along is digging itself into the sand. That's basically how these trailers feel like they behave. Trying to work out which of my 3 big trucks would be best to attempt that curtain cider delivery to the island in the middle of the water. Because I frankly don't fancy any of them for it, but it is a thing that needs doing. Make sure I've got the correct task set. And then deliver 2 metal beams. That's the next bit of the oil rig done. And then the final bit is an oil rig drill, which I need to pick up from the service hub and bring down. Now I've got a sideboard semi-trailer parked there, but the white Western Star is down in one of the island maps. Don't really want to bring it all the way back for that.
One eternity later.
What I've done, as you can see, is I've put a low saddle on the Fleet Star, because the white Western Star is all the way down in Drummond Island, and I don't want to drive it back here just for this one load, and there's probably work down there to do, so it doesn't feel like a good use of fuel. So I don't see any reason why the Fleet Star shouldn't be able to pull this down to the drill site. So I am going to load up the drill and haul it to the drill site with the Fleet Star, and I'm sure that's going to be fine. Let's get it started. So crane mode, legs down. To pack cargo. So I don't know why that would be impossible to pack. It's in the truck. I've certainly seen it pack weirder cargoes than that. Impossible to pack cargo. Okay, I'm going to drive and see what happens. I need to understand why that won't pack, don't I? Because I just realised if it's not packed, it won't accept it at the other end to hand it in. So I've got to somehow get that packed. Impossible to pack. Have I done it back to front, maybe? Let's just see if I can move it and get it to accept the cargo. There we go. I was worried about driving in with an unpacked cargo and finding that I had some kind of a glitch and would have to go all the way back and delete this cargo and reload another one. So I can't afford the fuel to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I was packed before I got into the hard part of this delivery. I don't know why it did that. All I had to do was slide it back in the flatbed a little bit and it suddenly seemed to be okay, so a bit strange. Right, so we'll just top up our fuel tanks on the way past with this fuel carrier. Because the same trip in the Pacific, we did run out of fuel on the way home and needed a fuel rescue, which isn't ideal. And really this fuel carrier could do with being taken a bit deeper in, maybe even all the way to the drill site. But I'm trying to avoid doing that because I don't think we got that much more to do here. In this corner of the map. I'm going to take a fuel carrier in and then an hour later need to bring it out again. So refuel. Yeah, so that fuel trailer is almost empty, look. It's down to 139 litres, which is not enough to fill up one of the big trucks. Probably not even enough to fill up the Scout with its roof rack. So very soon I need to think about where else have I got fuel. And I know I've got the trailer in the resupply zone. And it's got some in it, but I don't know. When I brought that big trailer with 3,700 litres and I said that I thought that would be enough to complete this map, I don't think that's true. I think I'll need to get even more brought over. I do have a Scout fuel carrier rescue mission on this map that I haven't done yet. So with the 10% rule, that's a 900 litre trailer. So with the 10% rule for handing it in, I can take about 800 litres out of that. So I will do that, I think. But yeah, when I brought that big trailer and thought that it would be enough fuel to do everything I need on this map, I don't think that's true. So we're going to take exactly the same route that we took with the Pacific and the large oil rig. I think it's the most sensible route. It wasn't too bad a drive before. And I think the Fleet Star is perfectly capable of hauling this trailer through that route. The real question is going to be whether it's got enough fuel to haul it in and out without needing a fuel rescue. I've been thinking about trucks for Alaska. So here's my thinking is, I mentioned before that there is the Zix 605, and in theory I could dedicate a couple of episodes, probably take at least 2 episodes, maybe even 3, to go and do the tasks required to unlock Cosmodrome, and then find your way across Cosmodrome to that truck, rescue it, get it back to the garage, and then pack it, retain it, and redeploy it back here, or redeploy it in Alaska. And that's definitely a thing that could be done. I've also mentioned, and other people have mentioned in comments, there's the Azov 64319, is it? Something like that. Which you can actually buy it at level 2 if you go to the Russian Federation and you've got enough dollars to do it. You can buy it at level 2. That's an option. Another option that I probably slightly prefer, if I was going to do this, is the other Azov. Is it 5.3 something? 5,000 and something. Anyway, I think it might be 5319 or thereabouts, something like that. That other Azov can take snow chains, so I don't think the 6.4 whatever it is can take snow chains. So that the other Azov may be an option. Or I just stick with the trucks I've got, go there with the Fleet Star and or one of the other ones, rescue the trucks that are available on the Alaska maps and make do the same as I've done here without buying any. But then the other thing that popped into my head while I was out walking the dog and thinking about this, as you do, is that in hard mode you don't actually get to experience DLC trucks unless you buy them, because you don't get them for free in your garage, and you aren't going to be finding them unless they're part of a season DLC, like a phase release that's part of the season pass. You're not going to get DLC trucks in the wilderness. So certain DLC trucks that myself and other people have paid for as a separate DLC, in hard mode you don't get to have any advantage from having bought that DLC unless you buy the truck in game. And that's led me to think maybe don't bottom out on the thing that you're supposed to be driving over. Maybe buying something like the Caterpillar CT681, the one that's got the lifting third axle, so that you can effectively make it an all-wheel drive. You don't have to unlock very many parts on the map for it. It's mostly you buy this truck in the truck store, you buy the upgrades for it in the truck store. You can make it all-wheel drive, dip lock, etc., and it effectively becomes an 8x8 truck. But it's this style of truck. It's not the big Russian heavy-duty off-roader. It's a heavy truck that's basically a beefed-up version of one of the things I'm driving right now. So I'm considering that as another option, and you put snow chains on it and take it to Alaska as my main truck. But I'm contemplating ideas, and obviously always interested in you guys' feedback. But yeah, those are the things I'm thinking at the moment. Right, enough of that. Let's get this unloaded. That should finish this drill site. Nice reward, 11,000 cash, that's good. Now, unless I'm wrong, I think that let's have a look at the map and then the global map. Yeah, that's ticked all 3 of the regional tasks for Michigan. So we're not finished, but that's the main ticks in the main tasks, which is the bare minimum for moving to Alaska. But I'm not going to Alaska yet because there's other stuff to do, including this crazy Sherman Island delivery. Oh, should I do that? I'm not sure that the Fleet Star is even capable of it, so if it all went wrong, it would be paying for a recovery. So let's just focus on contracts to start with. We've now completed all of the Dyson Diesel tasks for Michigan. We've still got the 4 logging contracts, which we haven't done yet because we haven't got logging equipment, and decision deferred on whether or not to do that. What I'm going to do next is a side task, because I'm here. There is a fuel task required, which I can collect that fuel from the drill site now that I've got it repaired, and deliver it to Forrester's house, which is on the route out. That we just drove past that on the way in, so I can drive past that on the way out and then complete that one and then get the Fleet Star out of here. I'm actually going to load up 3 units of fuel because this contract needs 1 as well. So I'll load up 3 units of fuel and put 1 of them on the trailer as I go past. And then I'll just need to get a service part. I'm feeling a little bit flush. I'm more worried about the fuel in the vehicle and the time that the engine has to run for the amount of time it takes to load the fuel. I'm actually going to just buy 3 units of fuel because I don't want to run out of fuel in the Fleet Star. We use just under half a tank to get in, so I'm hoping that logic says that means we can get back out again. But we won't do that if we spend 5 minutes doing fuel, burning so many litres a minute. We could end up out. Just put our nose in enough to unload. 1, 2. Back her up. So that worked quite well, really. I didn't waste any money doing this because low saddles are free. You can equip them for free. And I saved fuel costs of running the White Western Star back. Fleet Star cope with it, no problem. And you know how much fuel? So 46, not too bad. Yeah. So I am going to take everything that's left in the fuel carrier trailer out and put it in the Fleet Star. Then I'm going to pull forward and transfer this fuel over to the flatbed. Obviously that needs to be packed, but other than that, that needs one more item put in on that trailer. I'm just going to pull this sideboard trailer out. I don't have a clue what it's needed for next, so I'm just going to put it out here out of the way. That's out of the way enough. Alright, I'm going to have to leave this episode here. I think we've got enough done for the amount of time I can edit this down to. So I'll get this edited and posted. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I very much appreciate all of the engagement. It's brilliant. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, I will hopefully see you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.